a list of every hidden journalism-related social media group I could find. Written by Melody Kramer and published on Poynter.org. The article is fairly self-explanatory and is summarized by this paragraph. I'm a big fan of getting new voices into journalism and keeping them there. One of the ways to help level the existing playing field is to make sure everyone knows about the groups that already exist. Many of these groups are not well advertised and are hard to find, particularly if you're a freelancer or new to the field, so I decided to round up all the ones I know about in one place. One might expect such a boring article to be published without controversy. In fact, it is hardly an article, it's a resource page. I mean, if you're like me, you will be put off by the strange hive mind mentality, the idea that women writers just fit together, minority writers fit together, gay writers fit together, they are just one mass. But I imagine from the perspective of these supportive groups, they'd want people who fit their criteria to find them, right? The answer is actually, fuck no, judging by the comments on the page. And one group in particular seems to abide by the rules of the snitches get stitches school of journalism. Hi Melody. I sent an email to you, but just in case it ended up in spam, I am posting here in the comments to ask that you remove any mention of the binders groups from your list, as they are closed groups for a reason, and you are in violation of the community guidelines by advertising them. This is very good information to have. If you want a journalist to be unable to mention something, simply create a Facebook group and in the information section say that it may not be mentioned. Advice and support from people like this commenter must be absolutely priceless. Melody. I see where you're coming from. I have female friends who are in the binders. Once the group became public with a conference and everything, secrecy seemed moot to me. But here's the thing. It wasn't my secret to tell. And it wasn't your secret to tell. I think you have made a mistake. Why not admit that while you stand by your intentions, the way you went about it is wrong? At least admit that your tone is wrong. Your self-righteous tone is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. Maybe she will, right after this guy admits that his tone is that of something Doctor Who might have to face. Or maybe he just needs to get his thetans checked. This person claims that the author gave away dozens of people's personal emails. As far as I can tell, that is not the case. It only seems that way to them because they are a member, and when they click the link, they can see the contents, whereas people who are not members cannot see it. By linking the master subgroup doc, you have publicly shared dozens of people's email addresses. That is indefensible. Now get a load of the fucking phrasing here. In the name of helping other women writers, these women entrusted their contact info to a group who had collectively sworn secrecy about its existence. Breaking the trust of binders is one thing. Breaking it in a way that specifically exposes information about its members is another. And please don't suggest they should have known better or brought it upon themselves. I don't know if I'm capable of becoming any more cynical. First rule of binders: you do not talk about binders. Second rule of binders: everyone is an absolute asshole, apparently. I swear that I'm coming to a point, but first, a defense of Melody, and then a response to the defense. I can't understand the criticism of Melody here. The binders full of women reference goes back to women making efforts to make other women visible and give them the opportunity to be considered for influential roles. What's the point of forming a group to promote women and keeping it secret? It looks like a ladies' fight club. I write a series called Meta's Binder Full of Women in Analytics to promote women in my own field, and nothing makes me happier than people writing about it. The quote-unquote criticism is simple. She broke the rules. That is a rule of binders, is to not publicly offer information about group members established by group members. The community is invite only, but has a wide range of people, not solely straight, able-bodied white people, because there are way too many people, men especially, who have been trying to get into this space for personal gain rather than growing and helping others. Simple as that. Yes, there have been articles written about binders, and every person who has done that has been banned from the group. Melody is now included in that. Sounds absolutely healthy for journalists to be wrapped up in this, doesn't it? Are you underprivileged? Is your career having trouble? Come to us, we'll take you under our wing, we'll give you what you need, we will hook you up. There are some arbitrary rules to abide by though, and if you break them, harpies will swoop down on whatever article you write. As you can imagine, I'm just inherently not fond of these kinds of groups, but let's ignore that for a moment. These groups are ostensibly valuable to people. They obviously care about them, they obviously use them. It would seem fair to say that some people must rely on them. But although these aim to be support groups, there is a cost, and that cost is that the people who run the group have a say in your work as a journalist. You cannot talk about them, or you will be ostracized. You will be cut off from this resource. If you report in a way that they don't like, you can can potentially be cut off from what might get you a future job or a good lead on something. Now, I've suggested that in certain journo groups there is a risk of that attitude forming, that worry. Here, it is explicit. I mean, a rule like that isn't a big deal for most professions. Let's say you have a chef group where they share recipes and stuff like that, but you're just not allowed to mention it. Fine, whatever. As a journalist though, you've potentially compromised your ability to serve the public in return for a leg up. It probably won't affect your ability to do whatever you were going to do, but is that condition absolutely necessary? Just imagine you're a member of a group designed to target people who lack connections and make them dependent on it, and which is known for ostracism, and which we can now see from these comments is home to cliquish, tribalistic drama beasts. Could you honestly imagine that not influencing your work and therefore doing a disservice to your readers? Because I certainly couldn't. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.